program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
The weather is turning cold again. There's a cold front approaching from the coast. Hopefully we won't get too much wind. This is Safari Live. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunrise Safari. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is Sebastian. Now, remember, this is live, this is interactive, this is always happening right now, so send us your questions. You can either hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or you can chat to us on the YouTube chat. Now, first off, I think I need to start with an apology. Sorry for all the gremlins this morning, but we seem to have things all sorted, and hopefully we won't have any more interruptions for the rest of drive. Now, I didn't hear anything last night because I put my fan on about level 3, so I had a beautiful white noise going on in my room. But apparently there were leopards, lions and hyenas making all sorts of noises. Tristan has already seemed to find about 500 hyena tracks. Those are his own words. He exaggerated himself. I didn't do it this time. And we're going to go straight towards Gari Gate because apparently the lions are coming back from the Manuleti. So that we will continue to do. Now, I'm not sure if Tristan's still having gremlin problems. I know he was struggling to get picture at one point, but I think everyone could be working on that, which would be fantastic. No. It seems as though he's given them the boot anyway. Well, that's good. So we're going to start searching. Hopefully we're going to pick up on some lion tracks to follow. I'm going to send you across to Tristan so he can tell you all about his 500 hyena tracks.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Sunrise Safari from myself, Tristan, and on camera, Senzo. And yes, Taylor, there were lots of hyena tracks all around quarantine. They literally were running around in their droves there, so it seems as though there was a nice congregation of them, and I believe Alice said that they were going crazy last night, so we shall go and check around and see where they were going. They were coming southwards, so I want to just check if maybe the Styx Pride came north, in case they maybe caught something, and that's where the hyenas were off to. So that's the plan for the morning. Now remember, it is live, it is interactive, which means hashtag Safari Live or YouTube chat should you want to ask any questions. Besides our hyenas, we are going to just check down to the south of the reserve. I want to see if, like I said, there's any sign of the Styx. If there's no sign of the Styx, well, any sign of maybe Thandi or Tamba, or if Hosana continued his journey eastwards and maybe then turned north towards us, also Little Shongile. It's always just a good place to check. The southern boundary sometimes can be alive with possibilities, and so that's the plan for the morning. It's just to check down in the south. We already are far south. You can see Gari Main just in front of us. Well, this is not Gari Main, this is the fire break, so we're going to quickly pop into Janet Jackson's hole and see if she's home, or he, whichever one it is. We're not quite sure just yet. It's obviously quite difficult to sex a Janet when all you can see is its spots, but let's have a look. This is the tree on my right hand side here, this big tall one, so hopefully Janet Jackson is home this morning. Yes, Janet Jackson just ran, there it goes. Oh, it's run right up to the top. No, Janet Jackson, come back. It ran past this small hole at the bottom and then went to the top hole, and I can't see it anymore. Hold on, let's have a look. Why are you being shy this morning, Janet Jackson? Did you have a long night? No, nothing in there. Or is that it there? No, that's not it. But it's run up towards the top, unfortunately, so I don't think we're going to be able to get a view. But I saw a brief glimpse of it running through all the way from this hole. So that's where it started, and then it ran all the way up past those holes, and it must be somewhere above there now. There's another hole right at the top that it goes to. So Janet Jackson is home, but is being shy this morning. Doesn't want visitors. It's a cold, windy morning. Still time for bed. We're too early. That's why Janet Jackson is upset with us. So we will leave Janet Jackson to herself, or himself, depending on who it is, and let them carry on with their morning snooze. I wonder if I shouldn't be doing Gari Main instead. Might be better. Well, let's do the fire break and see how we go. I see somebody was walking around here, so I don't know what they were doing. I haven't heard any tracks being called in this area, so I'm not sure. But maybe, just maybe, they found some sort of sign a few days ago when I wasn't on drive, and that's why they were tracking here. But it's chilly this morning. It's not that the air is cold, it's the wind that is cold again. So I think we're in for another cold front. Apparently there is one on its way, so that's not really that delightful to think about. I'm never a huge fan of a cold front, and apparently this one might even bring rain. Now, it's one thing when it's cold and there's wind and it's very unpleasant. It's another thing altogether when it's cold, windy and rainy, because rain out here in these open vehicles is never the most fun at all. So hopefully there won't be any sign of that. Now, who's been walking here? I don't recognize this footprint either, which is always a bit worrisome when you get tracks that you don't recognize, because generally all the trackers here, I know their feet quite well, and this particular footprint I don't recognize at all. It's not Byron, because I know his track too. I'll have to ask Taylor if she walked here, otherwise we might just have to ask around and see, because these tracks seem as though somebody walked here yesterday. But I know for a fact there wasn't any tracks called in, so I don't know why somebody would be walking this far from Twin Dams all the way up to Weaver's Nest side. And you've got to be careful with tracks, because there are sometimes people that come into these areas and cause problems in terms of poaching and things like that. So when you see unfamiliar tracks, it's always good just to double check and make 100% sure that you do know these tracks and that it isn't somebody that's up to no good. Now, Alice is wondering where I am. Alice, I'm on the fire break between Weaver's Nest and Twin Dams at the moment, but I'll wait for the guys to get mobile, because I know somebody was on a drink stop here, but these tracks go a long way from where they were having drinks, which is a little bit of a concern. But you never know, maybe it was just one of the trackers that we don't know. There are also landowners from Buffelshoek and varying other place that you never know. Maybe they came and checked out what was going on and they were just walking around. So I'll have to just find out if somebody was walking here before I make a big scene out of it. Now I'm going to check Twin Dams. No sign of the Styx crossing north so far. I'm going to just check Twin Dams quickly, see if there isn't anything here. While we do that, let's go back to Taylor, see where she is and whether or not she's at the gate yet.
We've actually already passed the gate and sadly no luck on any tracks. I also saw some human footprint tracks, but I suppose that's normal when you're around the gate. But Tristan, yes, those are mine from about 2 days ago. It was when we had that beautiful sighting of the warthogs going home and going back into their burrow. Because I got out and I put a apple leaf, I think, on the ground to mark out where that burrow is. So we might go back there and see if those warthogs wake up. But no lion tracks, which is a little bit on the disappointing side. So I think what we're going to do from here is we're going to go along Triple M. We're going to go and just check where that den site is. We're not going to go into the den site. We're just going to check on the road and see if we can see any lion activity sort of moving out of there, and then we'll take it from there. Then I might go back and weave through Impala Plains and actually drive Buffelshoek boundary the entire length, because no lion tracks, just some old lion tracks coming down this way. So I'm not sure where those cats are. Look, I caught an insect. I didn't. I caught a stone from my tire. That was amazing. Right, so I don't know if any of you can see it. Probably not, because I'm trying to hide my eye with my hat. Something bit me on my eyebrow last night. Not last night. 2 days ago. And so I thought I saw something, but I don't think I saw anything. Could have been just a termite amount. Anyway, it swelled up so much last night that my eye was closing, and I have a bruise now. So we decided we were going to make eye patches, because I checked the first aid kit. I said I can drive. I don't, need to not drive because I've got a bit of a iffy eye. That's okay. But I was like, it's not going to really look nice. So we searched the first aid kits. We don't have any eye patches, sadly. So we made some. Last night we were colouring, and then I broke mine this morning. We recycled an egg carton. We used the box, and then we also used, I don't know, Megan found this wonderful string. Let me actually stop. Found this wonderful string, which was quite cool, from I presume a fruit or a vegetable bag, and then I broke it. But don't you think it's lovely? It's a great eye patch. We try and recycle in camp when we can. And now I've made myself an eye patch. See, I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. But you see, you can see it. So it's supposed to just sit here nicely. I don't even think it's going to stay. But it would have resembled something like this. Tristan's got a good one. Tristan's eye patch is still in working order, so you'll have to ask him to put his on. He's also got the beard. You know, my beard's looking a bit thin at the moment, so it's not quite the same. So maybe Captain Jack Sparrow in the other car will show you and do a good accent. You must ask him. He's been speaking with an Australian accent for also the last 2 days. It's his favorite accent to do apparently around in camp, and he does a mean Australian pirate. It's actually quite impressive. So you'll have to ask him to show you that, especially if there's not going to be any animals around. But as most of you know, when you drive on Triple M, it's a very bumpy road. It's not the nicest road to drive around on. It's just because it is one of the main access routes for the cars and the delivery, so guests coming into the different lodges, and then the delivery trucks driving on these roads. So it causes a lot of corrugations from people speeding. And it also actually makes it quite difficult for us to see tracks because, well, it's one thing seeing a track on a flat surface. It's another thing seeing tracks on a surface that are quite bumpy. I think I can see something up ahead. It could also be a little shrub or an impala. We'll go over and investigate. We're slowly getting to the spot where the den site is. This should be the next drainage line. Have a look around here. Now, Alex, you're wondering if the guides or other people are able to assist the animals if needed, and no, it's the animals sort themselves out here unless it's an injury sustained due to human interference. So a piece of wire stuck on an animal, maybe a let me think, a snare of some sort. Oh, there's a little daycare. Maybe a snare, maybe I'm just trying to think of a different thing. It's gone. Too slow today, Seb. Frozen still. Right, let's go. So otherwise we'll leave them. Again, if it's a disease that was introduced because of, well, the outside, so say like something like rabies, you might find that the vets will get involved. Obviously that's a disease we need to worry about, and it will spread around to lots of different animals. I'm just going to check here. So typically no, we let them. You see, if an animal's got a broken leg, the chances of a hyena or a lion or a leopard taking them out is relatively good, and you know, that's kind of spot on, and that's what they'll do, is they'll take the weakest one. These are just all old tracks from where they were the other day, so nothing new. I can't imagine that she would have moved her den already. She's just moved them, unless she felt uncomfortable and her cubs' lives were, you know, in danger, she'd maybe move them. But like I said, it's so thick to go in there, you don't really see much of the den site at all. There's so many branches out in the way. Okay, so we'll try jump on the next road. We'll probably just come back this way. I know Tristan's checking down towards the south. I might sneak on that new road very quickly and then just head back towards Impala Plains. Whee! Sorry, corrugations are horrible. I'm going to try and get off of this road. I actually really dislike it. But we have to check the boundaries. It's important because then you can sort of see what's come into the property, what's left the property. But it seems pretty quiet this side. A couple of ellie tracks here and there. There's some migrating wildebeest. They seem to be moving off the road. See if we can get a view of them. Oh, it's not the greatest view, unfortunately. They're behind lots and lots of shrubbies. But they are definitely there. You might see those little black specks. Those are wildebeest. Whether they're part of the same wildebeest herd that we see on a regular basis up at quarantine, I'm not so sure. Probably not, because that seems to be quite a big herd. And there are also hundreds, thousands of wildebeest that move within the entire greater Kruger National Park. So it's probably a different herd, and I think they're going to go and find a nice open clearing maybe where they can feed. This grass is quite tall. But let's go across to Tristan. I told you that he wanted to be a pirate, perhaps since he was a young little boy. Let's go and take a look.
Well, Taylor, I wanted to be, but it seems as though pirates are not for me, because at the moment my pirate eye patch broke just as I was putting it on, which is not ideal. So I'm trying to do some running repairs, so it's now going to be a taped up pirate eye patch, but we're just admiring the sun's rise as we sit here, and I do running repairs on my pirate patch. I thought I was so clever that I had made such a nice pirate patch and that it was going to work really well, but it seems as though it might have broken. But I think we might have fixed it, so let's try and see if it will work while you gaze upon the rising sun of Africa. Now, of course, all of this just happened because of Taylor's eye. She has a dodgy eye, and so I thought, well, if Taylor's going to have to wear an eye patch on drive, I can't leave her and let her suffer by herself and look ridiculous, so I thought I would help her out and also wear an eye patch. So last night it was arts and crafts around the dinner table as we designed our eye patches and tried to make our best eye patches that we could find, because out of all the first aid kits that we've got, you would think that we would be able to find an eye patch, but alas, we didn't. We found everything else to do major surgery, but no eye patches. Now you can hear the grey go-away birds are going a little bit bonkers above me, so you'll hear wah, wah, and that's not because of my eye patch and them wanting to be pirates too. It's because there's probably something in this tree above me, which yesterday they were also complaining about, so I'm sure there is an owl somewhere here. I don't know where exactly it is, but you can hear them. What have you guys seen? They're right at the top of the jackalberry that we're under at the moment, so somewhere in the foliage that is... Have you found it? There's a go-go-away bird busy eating the jackalberry fruit. Oh, you swallowed that whole. Well done. So our grey go-away bird has managed to find itself some nice jackalberry fruit, but that's not why they're complaining. There's something else inside here that is annoying these birds, because they generally don't make so much noise. Even when they're feeding, they're normally quite quiet. Maybe there's some sort of small predatory bird inside here. I just can't see it. Owls can camouflage so well against the backdrop that they might just be somewhere inside there. Now it seems as though we've managed to get our pirate patch working, which is fantastic news, except that I don't know how well I'll be able to drive. But Taylor and I had this bet that we'd have to drive around a whole day like this, and so Taylor better do some running repairs on hers. If I've been able to fix mine, then Taylor needs to be able to do hers, and we said that we'd have to go past everybody and greet them as though we were pirates. So hopefully we will be able to do that. It should be quite entertaining when we come across other people and we're wearing pirate patches and we give them the good old arr as we go past. So it's going to be very good. Hopefully it will be a fun morning. Now the thing is I don't know how much I'm going to be able to drive with this, because monocular vision is not so pleasant. I can tell you that it's quite difficult actually to see what's going on around me, and if we're going to spot any animals whatsoever, I might have to ditch the patch for another day. But let's try anyway. Let's see how we go and see what we can find. There's been no signs of the sticks coming towards to Twin Dams. Maybe Taylor will be lucky around Treehouse side. Maybe they went a little bit further to the west, but they haven't come this way. I'm going to check along our southern boundary towards Cheetah Cutline just in case they maybe crossed a little bit further to the east, but definitely nothing that has come this far yet. Eye patches are a funny thing. Now that I'm wearing one, which is not a very good eye patch because it hardly covers my eye at all, it's quite weird to kind of look around and only see with one eye. It almost gives me a bit of a headache, to be honest. So I don't know how long I'll keep this up for, but Taylor better fix hers and better join me as a pirate, because this was all her idea and we got thoroughly into it. And then this morning she broke it when she was trying to put it on. She says her mane is too thick and that broke our little string. Of course we didn't have proper string, so we had to make string and recycle it out of a vegetable bag. So when your veggies come in that netting bag, so we had to roll it up and then make our string that way. So it's not very strong, it's a bit flimsy, to be honest. But let's go across to Taylor and see if she has managed to fix her patch and whether or not she's going to be joining in the pirate challenge this morning.
I didn't fix my patch, and I don't know if I'm going to fix my patch either. Mine's very broken. It's torn so much, I don't know if I can make another hole in. I don't actually just think it's going to work. I think it's beyond repair, I'm afraid. So I did put it on though, Tristan. Let's be honest, it's not because I'm embarrassed to put that patch on. I'm the one that actually needs it with my eye, but at least I can see out of it today. there's absolutely nothing going on here. I don't even know what to update you on right now. I think I'm going to move out of this area completely because there's no lion tracks. There's nothing around here. I've seen one set of hyena tracks. I have not seen a leopard track. We saw those wildebeest, and then there was a daker, and that's basically it. So this is a dead zone for now. Maybe we'll come back into this area a little bit later. And no one has crossed here yet, but that's not to say that there won't be animals once it warms up, of course. So we're going to just go along Power Lines Road. We're going to go, I think we might go via Gallagher shortcut, and then we'll go up towards Waterbuck boundary, and then we'll drive all the way to the eastern corner. I think that'll be an area to start off with. Maybe we'll pick up on something fresh that side. So that whole update with the Nkuhumas apparently coming back this side, you know, it's really tough when it's not somebody that you know. It was one of the gate guards, so I don't know how much he knows, and you know, if his directions were spot on. So we'll just have to see. I mean, they could have also just come down to Sydney's Dam, had a drink, and then gone back into the Manuleti again. That's also a possibility, and we wouldn't have even known that. We can't see the tracks from all the way over there. Hopefully the elephants will be around today before this bad weather comes through. Ooh, this sounds exciting. Now, what a great challenge from James. Who will be, out of Tristan and I presume, who will be the first to find the first brown-headed parrot? That's a good one. Well, I know a couple of sneaky spots where they often sit and sun themselves, so we might have to go check them. I'm not going to say where they are now. Otherwise, of course, Tristan is going to shoot on over to that area because he's a lot closer to that spot than I am. But we'll check around here. We'll check on Gallagher. I have seen brown-headed parrots before. I often see them flying over quarantine too. Yeah, no, we've got to go to the right. Check there's no cars. It's very quiet in Djuma at the moment. I don't know if there's guests in the camp. I haven't heard Taxon or Rexon or Aubrey or anyone really talking, so I don't know. They must be having a bit of a break at the moment. So it's just Tristan and I, and then until Torchwood vehicles, Buffelshoek, and all the way from the east sort of make their way this side. Okay, let's go down here. Whee! Let's just quadruple check. No, it's not even a hyena track down on Gallagher just yet. So that's not good for us. We will go past the hyena den. If I don't see any fresh tracks entering the hyena den, we probably won't turn in now then. We'll come back a little bit later. We know that the den is typically active when it's a bit warmer. It's not nice for those little ones to come out in the cold. So many Impala tracks. Are we going to go down there? No, let's do all the way here this way. Trying to think what radio Tristan's talking on. It must be in the east. Now, Adele, you're wondering if I know where the McCurdy Hurdy is? Absolutely no idea, unfortunately. I haven't seen the... Oh, ML, not Adele. Sorry, the comms are a little bit on the tricky side today. Hello, Impala crossing. So, no, I haven't seen them for ages. Also, I think I've forgotten what they look like, to be honest, which is not necessarily a nice thing to say about my family, but I haven't seen them in such a long time. Impala, 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 Impala. You're also freezing today. Yes, they're all fluffy. Those are the ones I suppose are nicer in the lovely golden light. I just want to get our shadow out of the way. Don't run, guys. Don't panic, it's just us. Here we go. A young fella. You're not going to be around for too much longer, are you? Oh, show jump. Anyway, she's going to jump over. Whoop. Very delicate. Some of them munching, some of them running, most of them running away from us at the moment. But I think we're going to have a windy day again. Yay. But it's going to turn nasty again, unfortunately. Remember how we had those 3 really horrific days? There's a big cold front that has hit Cape Town. It's on the southwest coast, and that's going to push through this way. I don't know if it has hit down sort of more towards the southern tip. We'll have to see. Okay, bye, Impala. We're going to go find some other animals, see what else is out and about. I'm still looking for those brown-headed parrots. The best way to spot them is to actually hear them, like very chatty birds, and then you can sort of pinpoint their location. And normally there's not just one, normally there'll be quite a few of them flying around too. So one parrot for everyone. Everybody gets a parrot. You get a parrot. You get a parrot. But let's see if we can find them first. Maybe in this area will be back. Not even, I can't believe it. No hyena tracks whatsoever around here. So we'll come back, we'll come check the den a little bit later. I don't think it's going to be active now. And we're still searching for the parrots. However, Tristan's been yapping away, I presume to the east on the radio. Hopefully, he's got an interesting update to share with you.
I have been yakking, Taylor. I've been talking and chatting and trying to find out what's going on, but it seems as though I was talking to myself. I feel like maybe I belong in a bit of a mental home because nobody was really answering me, but I was just having a full-on conversation with the static that is the Eastern Channel at the moment. What I did glean from all of my talking to myself is that somebody tried to answer with a location on the Styx Pride. No idea where it is, but I did find a track for a male lion coming into Vuyatela. I would imagine it's the culprit that made a lot of noise around 1:30 on the dam cam, so I'm not too confident in finding it, but I'm checking anyway. I'm just going up Chitwa line now, going to jump onto Leadwood because the tracks went north between Leadwood and the Mulawati, well, between Chitwa line and the Mulawati, should I say, so they should pop out on Leadwood somewhere. So I'm just quickly having a little look there and seeing if that's not where the tracks went. Otherwise, no tracks coming north that I can see for any of our spotty friends or any of the Styx Pride. It seems as though there was a female that came into Vuyatela and then crossed back south in the same place that the male lion was, so it seems as though there was a lot of activity in that particular road, and they went south towards the other treehouse dam, which is on Little Gowrie. So hopefully they find them somewhere and they can let us know. I was kind of wanting and willing their tracks to come up this way, but I don't think they have. Given that we drove there quite nicely and slowly, I didn't see any sign. I also wasn't just wearing my eye patch. I did take my eye patch off when I spotted some of the tracks to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. So don't worry, we are still on top of the game. And I believe, James, you've issued a challenge to find a brown-headed parrot as part of our pirate challenge. Well, we're going to try our very best. Where we are now is a good place for brown-headed parrots. I've seen them around this area before, and if we have no luck here, we'll have to head towards Gowrie Dam because we know there's quite a nice population in that area as well. So hopefully they will be around, because it would be nice to get a pirate. Imagine if we could get a parrot to sit on our shoulder. That would be cool for Pirate Challenge. I don't know how we would manage that, but it would be quite a fun thing to try and do. I think we would fail miserably, but well, you never know. There we go. It sounds like the tracks for the Styx have gone into Torchwood from Nkoro side, which is obviously quite far from where we are now at the moment. Oh, sorry, Hornbill. A little Hornbill that's feasting on termites. Let's not interrupt its breakfast. Let's give it a chance to have a bit of a chance to feed. And you can see they often dig and root through dung as they try and find varying food items. Now the termites that they'll feed off are tiny little termites. It's very difficult to actually see them. They're small white termites with a little caramel colored head, and you'll find them just underneath the dung, and they actually build tunnels into the dung itself, and then they pull particles down into underneath the road. And so what this hornbill does is just lift those dung piles, and that allows the termites to be exposed, and it can then feed off it. So very clever. Although I feel like now that we think about pirates and hornbills, maybe a hornbill would be a cool bird to have as your bird on the shoulder. It'd be an African twist to the pirate game. They look piratey, don't they? They kind of got that stern look about them. Big beak. I think a hornbill would be a perfect pirate bird. But whatever is there, it's having a thoroughly good time feeding on it. So termites, even though they're tiny and it's a lot of effort to get to them, they're packed full of proteins, and so for a bird they're a good source to go to and to try and get to. Orchid Wave, you say a hornbill. You agree a hornbill would be much more impressive on the shoulder? I reckon as well. I think that they are the perfect subject to be able to go and sort of put on your shoulder and try and be as African as possible when you go around with your peg leg and your bottle of rum. I think that would be a superb bird for it. The only problem is if they pecked you on the ear, it wouldn't be so pleasant. That's a rather large beak that they've got. But I can't see the termites. I'm trying to see them as it's rooting around in the dung. It's amazing how quick they are with their beaks and how they're able to see things that we just can't pick up. There's definitely little things that they're finding, because it wouldn't spend so long, and it wouldn't also be so brazen with the car barreling down towards it, that it would just sit and take it easy. Now I can hear a bird alarm calling to my south, a francolin, so I want to just quickly turn around and just go back and check there. But there's definitely a francolin that's not making its normal call, so it might be worth going and just having a little check there. I'll try and see it somewhere just south of me here, so I'm going to do a little off-roading to check, unfortunately, but I'm going to get rid of my eye patch now because I have to concentrate a little bit because of the fact that there's stumps and things like that, and I don't want to wreck Rusty. So let's try and see if we can't find this francolin somewhere close by here. It's not too far. I wonder, maybe there's something, you never know, maybe our male lion is sitting in the bush here and our francolin has seen him and that's why it's making this noise. Could also be a bird of prey that is causing it to make a bit of a noise as well. But there's a different call. They have their territorial call, which is the one that is quite loud and vocal, and they'll stand in an open area and make that call to try and attract everybody. But then there's the one when they see predators, and it's more of a, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a different kind of sound altogether, and it's one that they make when they see predators often, so it's worth checking out. It's a much softer call as well. But let's see, maybe we get lucky here somewhere. Senzo, are you looking in all the trees and on the mounds and everything else, in case there might be a spotted cat here too? We know Thandi likes to hang around in this area and has been over the last few weeks, as well as our friend Tumba, so always got to think about them and keep them in mind when going through this area. Let me just turn off and see if I can't hear those francolins again. Chiff, you are asking where is Tumba? Well, I wish I had the answer to that, Chiff. I have no idea. He's been around. There's tracks for a young male often on Vuyatela, and we know that Hassan has been down at Chitwa, so I'd imagine that Tumba is somewhere around. It's just a matter of finding him. He's probably in these deep drainages around the camp, which are really very difficult to negotiate, and even if we found him, we probably wouldn't be able to get a car. So I'd imagine somewhere in those areas, but difficult to say. You never know. Thandi might have fetched him, taken him a long way. We just missed the tracks. It does happen from time to time. But it seems as though our francolin has gone quiet. There's somewhere in this general vicinity where we are now. So no, we'll have to carry on. I don't see any sign of anything. If it was a male lion, we would have spotted him quite quickly. His dark mane would have stood out in this light-coloured grass. So it's not that. It might be something else. Like I say, it could be a snake. It could be a bird of prey. It's difficult to say. But nothing that I can see. Let's see. No, nothing here. I was hoping that we would find our francolin still alarm calling and still making its noise. There's two francolins on my left, but those are the ones that have been very loud, who have just been making their territorial call. Maybe that's why. Maybe they saw another francolin and they're making a noise for him. No, nothing, unfortunately. Okay, back to our original mission. Let's go and see what else we can find, and we'll check around and see if there isn't any sign of this male lion again, if I can't find his tracks. I believe there's tracks for another male on Torchwood. It's not the Styx Pride. The Styx Pride are going towards Nkoro at the moment, so it's a bit of... They left their cubs there yesterday, apparently, so that's where they're probably going, is to go and fetch those little ones, and then the males are just all over the place. I believe 2 males went into Mala Mala yesterday. There was one that was up in the north somewhere. So lots of movement of the boys. I wonder what they're up to. Now, Taylor says I've been yakking and chatting on the radio a lot, but it seems as though she's done a bit of her own. So let's go across to her and see what her updates are and where she is and what she's doing and where she's going to go for the rest of the day.
I just talk nonsense all the time. I felt lonely because I wasn't live, so I thought I'd better talk to everybody on the radio. I got an update for anyone. We're talking about lions and things. So I think the only thing that's happening is Taxon's going to go and check the Manuleti boundary because he can drive up there and see if the Ngumas actually came across. So we'll get that update a little bit later. What else? Apparently there was a young male leopard spotted at the Torchwood watering hole. We can't drive there, unfortunately, so that was just one of the brief updates that popped up. So that could either be Osana or Tamba, especially if it's a young male. It's probably one of them. No, I don't want to go down Hyena Road. Taylor, why are you going down Hyena Road? You want to go to Buffelshoek Dam. I'm not concentrating today, apparently. So we shall go towards Buffelshoek Dam and just quickly have a look around, and then if not, I'm going to stick with my guns. We're going to continue all the way towards Cheetah Cut Line and just check to see if anyone's crossed out, because Tristan obviously had those male lion tracks, and if they, I think he had male lion tracks, if they come this side, there's a route that they normally walk, and sometimes it actually just consists of going straight down once it warms up as well. They'll go back to sleep earlier in the mornings than what they have been at the moment. Let's check here. No tracks that we're interested in. Just trying to scan on the road. It's a little bit difficult, but we're almost at the dam. We're not too far now. I can't believe how quickly Vuyatela Dam's drying up. It's impressive. I don't know if it's just because it's not holding water very well, or if it's because of the animals, the Impala, the Wildebeest, the birds, the Nyala, the bushbuck, all those antelope that come down and drink there almost every single day. That could definitely be one of the causes. Because Buffelshoek Dam is looking great. But there isn't much for the animals to eat around here though, so I suppose this is why they maybe don't use it as much. Now Kobe, who's only 15 years old, you're saying that shouldn't the rains be coming soon? Typically we'll get, what I've noticed is that normally around the end of August, September, we'll get a downpour. And then we normally don't see much rain again until the end of October, November. So it just depends though. Again, we bring up the whole thing about the birds starting to build their nests and have already courted one another, which is unusual because it's a little bit too early. Maybe they know something we don't. Obviously these animals have got a great natural instinct on predicting when the weather is coming around. Maybe it's this weekend. They are forecasting rain for this weekend because of this big cold front, so perhaps it's going to bring a bit more rain than we thought, but we don't really know. I actually don't even know if they've predicted much. Oh my goodness. I see 2 nostrils that are going to go under the water. It must be Scuba Steve that's here, that's very, very shy. So there is a hippo, but yeah, we're going to move on from here. So I think we're going to leave the dam now. There isn't much here barring some Egyptian geese. We're going to try and continue for something else. Let's go to Tristan. He's also got a bird.
I do. I have probably one of the most spectacular birds that we have here in the Sabi Sands, the Bateleur eagle. And you can see, look at his round head. The wind is blowing perfectly to get all those big feathers on his head blown out. And he looks like he's got a big circular kind of mane around his face. So they are exquisite birds when they sit like this and their wind is ruffling their feathers. You can see that bright red face and cere, and then red legs and the tiny little yellow tip to the beak. They are amazing looking birds, and particularly for the raptors. A lot of the raptors tend to be quite drab and brown and not too much coloration, but these guys really do kind of bring the raptor world to life with their looks and their amount of color that they have. But you'll find that these Bateleurs that we see here, this is an area where they nest. So there's two nests that are actually utilized in this section. One is just to the sort of east of where that bird is now, and the other one is south of us. And you'll find that they nest here most years, and last year they were actually here and we saw them on the nest itself. So hopefully this year will be some of the same again. They tend to use the same nests every year and be able to kind of grow their chicks as long as they're safe and the chicks get to adulthood, then they will use it again. Sinatra, you say, what a glorious Bateleur eagle. Well, it is glorious, isn't it? And like I say, the wind is blowing in the perfect direction just to get those feathers all out, that it almost looks as though he's, like I say, got a lion's mane around its head. Now, it looks to me as though it's just the one. I can't see the other one at the moment. Remember, with Bateleur eagles, they are monogamous and they pair together for life. So I can't see the mate at the moment, but it will be here somewhere. You'll find that they often sit together. So it will be good to see. If we just scan around, maybe we'll find the other one. But this is the male that we see sitting there. So you can see his dark wings that he's got. He's got that black tip. There's no white in there. If it was the female, you would find that there would be a big broad white stripe on that wing that would be able to indicate that it is a female. Also, you can see how short the tail is. Those wing feathers actually extend beyond where the tail is. When they're youngsters and juveniles and immatures, you'll find that the wing feathers are actually pretty similar length to the tail, but as they get older, that tail almost seems to shorten up and the wings then protrude past it. It's a very telltale sign. Even if you saw a silhouette of this bird, you would be able to ID it just from that tail wing section there. It's one of the few eagles that has such short feathers there, and the reason why they have very, very small tail is because they don't need to be as stable in flight. They're not like the goshawks or even some of the birds of prey like Wahlberg's eagles and likes that need long tails to be agile in flight to be able to catch birds as they go, because remember, they'll hunt on the wings. These guys are more carrion feeders, so they don't need to be as stable in flight. They can just flop down towards where a dead animal is and then feed off it. And you'll find they're normally one of the first birds to arrive at a carcass. They have incredible eyesight and they tend to fly quite low, and they generally are the first ones, particularly around roadkill and varying other things. You will find a Bateleur eagle there quite quickly, and followed by the tawny eagles and then the vultures after that. And if you see Bateleurs, tawnies and vultures together, you know that something fresh is dead. It's not something that has been dead for very long, because the Bateleurs and the tawnies tend to prefer fresher food rather than the old sort of rotten meat that the vultures will eat. But very nice. He looks just like a chicken this morning. Jake, you want to know what other eagles we have in South Africa? Jake, there are many. I'm not going to list all of them because we'll probably be here for the next hour as I go through every single one of our eagles. But we have snake eagles, we have forest dwelling eagles, and we have lilac-breasted rollers, which are beautiful birds. We have the martial eagles, we have a lot of the browner eagles that like the tawnies and the steppes. So lots of different species that we get in this particular area. We're very fortunate in that we do get lots of eagle species. Now, our lilac-breasted roller unfortunately has positioned itself right behind a branch. You can see that incredible electric blue wing that they've got, and it was on the road. I was hoping it would stay there. I actually only saw it a little bit late, but it's got the most magnificent colors, these birds, and when they fly, those blue wings are just remarkable, especially in good morning light like we have now. You can see how it's almost giving us a shine on that turquoise part of the wing. They really are very, very pretty birds, and always a treat to see these guys. As much as they are common and we see them pretty much every day, it's such a pleasure when the light is good to see them and to watch them fly around. They certainly bring a splash of color in the winter months, that's for sure. There's a lion roaring. And it sounds like it's not too far. I'm going to try quickly go and see. There's definitely audio of a lion roaring not too far from where I am. So I'm going to try and quickly get across there. I've just got to let the guys know if anybody's in that area to help me out. Station's audio of a Ngala calling. Sounds like maybe Central or Bateleur Road. Yeah, I'm on my way that way. So it must be the same male that crossed, because it's pretty much in line with where the tracks cross. To get fantastic news. She heard it as well. It might be worth her just checking around Buffelshoek Dam side, because if it is this male that I had tracks for, it's gone northward, so it will be heading in her direction. So if she checks the northern parts, I can check the south and central areas, and maybe between the two of us we'll get lucky with this male lion. So Alice, if you let Taylor know, because she didn't answer the radio now when I called it in, but I'm sure she was listening intently. Oh, come on, Impalas, I do appreciate you guys, but we're going to try and find this male lion quickly. It sounds like it's not far from where I am, so hopefully I will be able to find it fairly quickly. But let's get into the Mulawati quickly and then head up towards that area. Oh, that's exciting. Nothing like a male lion calling when to start your day. It always gets the adrenaline pumping and gets you moving and trying to find him. So I'm quite excited about this. Hopefully we can find his tracks. That'll make it much easier to be able to get to him. Senzo is just going to have to sneak under here. Hope our aerial will be okay. There we go. Now, while I try and see if I can't find this lion, let's quickly go across to Taylor. I don't think she heard. Hopefully, she'll be able to give us a hand and we can find this male between the two of us.
I can most certainly do that for you, Tristan. What I shall do is I will go down Hyena Road now. When I get there, I'll go all the way down Hyena Road to Central and check that side. We know that they haven't crossed out the property just yet, whether it's just one male, maybe it's a pride, because I've done the entire length. Well, I haven't done the entire length of Buffelshoek boundary. I only did it from Gallagher shortcut to the east to Cheetah Cut line. Now there's not one track coming out, so this is good. So I will move into the area in a few seconds. We're just passing sort of where Buffelshoek Dam is. So we just need to find Hyena Road again, I think, or have we missed it? I've either missed it, and then that means I'm going to take Gari Cut line. I can't remember where I am now. No, I'm on the right track. What we will do is we will go this way. Where I am now. I think we're going to end up jumping up onto Gari Cut line. Maybe, maybe not. This road is so long. It feels like I've honestly... No, we'll go Hyena Road. It honestly feels like I've been driving it for about an hour already coming back, and then I think I should be a lot further down that way. Perhaps I'm not driving quickly this morning. Now, the reason why we didn't hear that lion roar was because we were so out in the open, we were so exposed, the wind was hammering us, but we couldn't hear anything. I mean, at one point it sounded like it wasn't even switched on anymore. What do you think? Actually, I'm just trying to think, Bateleur Road, maybe we must go down Nyala Road. Let's do that. Tell Tristan I've changed my mind. Let's do Nyala Road north, because that's actually closer to Bateleur. And then we'll go to the right again, and then we'll come up Hyena Road. Let's do that. Because if Tristan will go and check exactly where he thought he heard the call, we might as well check the other side or in between the drainage lines on the roads that he's not going to go on. That'll be exciting. Imagine if we could get some lions between us. That would be really nice. So we'll just up the pace just a little bit. I just want to get out of this area where there's no trees to protect me, because as soon as I go down onto Nyala Road north again, then I can start hearing sounds above the sound of the wind and then also the car's engine. It really does help when you drive in these thicketed areas. Hello, Birchall Starling. You're not going to charge me today, are we? I'm so sorry. We're not going to stop to have a look at you. We'll catch you next time. Who's that? That's a little Dacre running through the thicket. Little Dacre, did you hear a lion? No, gone. Just dust. They never want to hang around, those antelope. They're so shy. Okay, so now we're on Inyala Road. We'll also just check carefully because they could be on the move. And then that is also going to prove quite difficult for Tristan and I to try and find them. This area is very thick still. Lots of quarry trees, lots of tambuerties, knob thorns. Pirates of the Sabi Sands working together. I might have to, what I might be able to do at some point is I'll undo the string and I'll just tape the eye patch to my hat, and then it should sort of just hang there. It'll be a bit flappy, but that'll be alright. Right, can't be perfect. And yet Tristan's chatting away, so hopefully there's some other guides who do want to come and help us. Obviously we want the most people to try and help us, yeah, and that'll be the best. Okay, so it's very quiet. Not even a little food party flying through. That bird didn't. There was a bird that sat on a tree now. It didn't sit still though. It looked like a greater honey guide, but I didn't get a good enough view to really have a look at it. That would have been a good one to add to the lists. What we will do is when we get down into this dip, I might switch off and just have a little listen. Maybe we hear a contact call or a big roar again. I'm trying to think. Bateleur Road. So I'm sorry. I'm thinking, what are the usual routes that these cats? I know they. Just have a little listen. The birds are also calling, which is quite nice. Turtle doves. There was an orange-breasted bushrat calling at one point. Franklin. White-browed scrub robin. Some cisticulars. Woodpecker. No lions. Okay. Let's carry on then and keep going. It's beautiful. So we're going to keep going through here and hopefully we're going to find these lions. The gremlins are about to jump on board, so let's go back to Tristan.
Well, I think that's a good call, Taylor, because maybe, just maybe, this lion might be somewhere close to Central side, so maybe she'll bump him around Central or that area. So it's a good idea to check that side. I'm still in the Mulawati going northwards. I was just having a look at the line of where I saw that Bateleur nest, and we're getting closer to the kind of area where I suspect this lion was calling from. So somewhere where I am now, it was slightly northwest of where we were, and that would mean that it was somewhere Twin Dams, Mulawati, Bateleur, that area. So I'm just trying to check around and see if I can't find at least a track that would indicate where this lion could be. So I want to quickly just check Chelapan here and see if there isn't any sign there. If there's no sign on Chelapan, we'll take Bateleur Road and see if there isn't anything on Bateleur. But somewhere close by, that's for sure. Nothing coming out here. Let's see. It's a bit of a process of elimination because I don't actually have his footprints. I'm just trying to go by a sound that I heard, and it was somewhere in this general vicinity. So it sometimes can be a little bit hit and miss with the layout of the land. If he's higher or lower, can sometimes be. So it's just a general area, and hopefully from there we then pick up the tracks and I'll be able to find him. But I want to quickly just check Twin Dams Road because we haven't checked here yet. Stephen, you're wondering if this male could be tracking either the sticks or the inkahumas. Possibly. Also, don't forget these male lions also have to patrol the territory, so even if they're not with the sticks and inkahumas or tracking them, they're still trying to protect their area and dominate a certain section and try and make sure that they keep their area nice and safe. So you will find a situation that they will make a lot of noise and will walk around and do some scent marking patrols, so it's not necessarily that they're tracking the prides. I don't think in this case that this male is tracking any of the females. None of the females are in this general vicinity that we know of, so I think it's more just a territorial scent marking mission that he's on. But definitely he hasn't come this way that I can see. So back to Bateleur Road so I can check there. Hopefully he will call between Taylor and I. One of us will be off, and when he calls again, that we can get a much better area. I might just, if I get nothing on Bateleur Road, I might just turn off and sit for quite some time and just listen out and see if I can't either hear him or hear some sort of an alarm call. That will be probably our best bet in finding him. And also, it's difficult if he's mobile, because if he's moving, then he's constantly trying to get ahead of you, and you kind of got to just keep jumping and hoping that we get lucky and we find his sort of sound and him somewhere in the area. But there's no tracks that I can see anywhere on Twin Dams Road, so I think he must still be east of the Mulawati at the moment. Exciting nonetheless though. It's always cool when you get these guys roaring. It makes a interesting morning of tracking, because now you're not only using tracks themselves, but you're trying to use sounds to try and find this animal, which is always fun. But I don't think it can be much further than where I am now. It must be somewhere in this general vicinity. Let's see. No tracks that I can see here. Alright, let's check. So Bateleur Road is a road that is difficult because of the thickness of the bush around it, and we're going to have to keep our wits about us here if we're going to spot a lion. Luckily I've got Senzo, whose spirit animal is a lion. I think Senzo is half lion, and he seems to be able to spot these things from miles away, so at least we've got him on board, which means that hopefully if this lion has laid down or settled down anywhere close by here, we will be able to find him. Let's see. No, those are hyena tracks. At least with a male lion you get really nice big tracks, and it makes it much easier to see than something like a leopard or even hyenas, or even the females. Sometimes their tracks can be a little bit tough to spot, but at least a male lion is a really big paw print and it leaves a nice solid mark on the road. So Craig, you're wondering how big, I think, is a lion's territory is what you said. Sorry, there was another person talking on the radio at that last point, but it depends, Craig. Lion territories differ according to the competition that is in the area, as well as the... So let's quickly go across to Taylor. I believe she's found something.
I don't know what I have. I have a leopard. What have you got? A Dacre kill. And who are you? Awesome. I'm so excited. I need you... Please, can you tell Tristan, because there's so much chat on the radio, that I have got a leopard. Can he call it into me, or in for me, on Central Mobile towards Drakensberg Junction? That'd be great, Alice, just because I'm going to try and stay on this. I'm going to go and guess. Who should we guess? Thandi. It's obviously difficult to tell from the rear end like this, but I suspect that it is Thandi. I'm just trying to think. It looks like a female, and it didn't look like a particularly young female either. It looked a little bit on the sort of tatty side. Let's have a look here again. Or are you Shongile? Who could you be? I mean, Thandi's not the biggest leopard either, but if you do know and you can tell which leopard this is from the backside, please do let us know. Hashtag Safari Live. We will always, of course, appreciate your help. Well, I know that I certainly do. But how great is this? I said to you that I'm refusing to track leopards from now on, and it worked. I was looking for a lion, and then look what's popped up. I literally I was stressing. I thought if this lion is on a territorial patrol, which I'm sure is exactly what's happening, as Tristan said, he's going to be moving quite hectically. Now, ideally, I want to try and get in front of this leopard, but I also want to see where this leopard is going. So we'll just drive slowly. I don't want to put too much pressure. Oh, well, there we go. You might see Tristan, apparently. How cool is this? So it's a half-eaten Dacre kill. I think it could be Thandi, because I remember seeing leopard tracks on Nyala Road north or south. No, Nyala Road, Nyala Road south, and they said that they saw drag marks from a leopard, but that was also a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, and for a leopard, a Dacre is not a particularly big meal. We'll just keep going. I don't want to encourage this leopard's direction if it's going to turn off the road. If it wants to walk down the center, that's perfect. We were going to try and stay with it for as long as we can. How amazing. It's a tough one. I know half of you it's a toss-up at the moment between Thandi and Shongile. I feel like it's hard to tell, isn't it, from the back? We keep getting little glimpses. Let me get up here and we'll stop again. How great is this? So Tristan's very kindly handling the radio for me, which is fantastic because it is going wild, and I'm going to turn it off because otherwise I can't concentrate. Oh, beautiful. That's a lovely picture, don't you think? Tail up in the air. Oh, what a beautiful scene. Golden light. Come on, turn to us so we can try and figure out who you are. I can't do my normal maneuver where I zoom on through the bushes and get in front because the Impala are alarming now up in front, but I don't think she's going to mind too much. It's just too thick for me to actually make it, and like I said, I don't want to startle this cat. So we shall just stay at the back until I can see a nice clear gap. The Impala have spotted her and they're snorting now, but she's got a meal in her mouth. So I think she should not worry about the Impala too much. Right here, let me try and get a better shot for all of you. Oh, they're running. They're not hanging about. I thought the Impala were at least going to stand here and sort of alarm, but that's not the case. They've dashed off. She's just keeping an eye out on them. We will just try and keep moving as slowly as we can. Yee! So James Richard, you also think that it could be Thandi? I think so. I just don't think that this looks like a particularly young cat, but I stand in the correction. I mean, for me to make an assumption like this, look at the Impala. Can I just show you how the Impala are panicking? I'm going to just go up a little bit forward. It's quite funny. Like, oh, look at them. They're running forward now. Sorry, it's a tight view. They're actually coming closer again. See that? Watching, snorting, ears pricked. Very typical for Impala to do something like that, to move closer towards a predator. Right, we're going to have an opportunity actually to catch her and get in front because we're not actually too far from the boundary. We've got a couple of 100 meters to go, but we know how quickly the cats can cover the ground, and I'm going to sneak around her in a second. We'll get a chance and then we'll be able to tell for certain who exactly we've got here. Don't worry, Impala, you're safe this time. For now. That's not to say nothing's going to change this afternoon. Okay, girly girl, which way are you going to go? I'm going to sneak past her here. Okay, everyone, watch the brown. Oh, it's so tight. Oh, I don't know now. I saw very golden eyes there for a second, and I know Thandi's got sort of bluer eyes. I want to go through. Okay, let me go again. But I'm going to drive through the bushes, and people are going to get hooked on thorns. Not that I really mind it. We're doing a really wide berth here. Hold on. Just need to do a quick zip. Toot, 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 toot. So, Seb, we're going to do classic Taylor. I think it's Shongololo. It's Shongile. I'm going to try and... What I'm going to do is we're going to reverse now. We're going to do classic Taylor. We're going to reverse for the rest of the drive. But I think this looks like Shongile. It's okay, girl. Come on. I'm going to move back for you. Now she's going off the road. See that? Very golden eyes. Actually, not as sort of tatty ears as it would look like from the back. I'm going to go and say that this is Shongile. But again, on the move, it's so difficult. We're going to have to stay on the move with her. And it doesn't look like a big daker either. I think she actually caught a youngster. And there are a couple of young daker around at the moment. I don't know who she's taking it to. Is everybody confirming? Yeah. So, Jason, you're wondering why it can't be Shadow? Just because Shadow is normally, she's a little bit bigger. Who are you? No, you could be Thandi. You could, hey? I don't know. In the light, her eyes looked so... She's a little bit nervous there. Her eyes look so golden. And then now when she came closer, they actually had a bluish tinge to them. I'm confused now. Well, okay, I'm going to go and change it. It's Thandi. Yeah. I wonder if this isn't Thandi. The reason why is because she's going towards Torchwood, and we know that there was a young male sighted on Torchwood. And that's the exact direction that she's going. And she would still be taking food back for Tamba. Shongile, she'd probably stay put with her meal, because you can see it's not like it's a brand new kill. It's not like she's trying to find a tree to hoist it in. It's the fact that she's eaten some of it, and now she's going to move on. And obviously she's going to take it back to Tamba. This is what I imagine. Maybe she killed it last night. Yeah, I'm going to stick with... I think I'm going to take... I'm sorry for saying Shongile. Just this entire behavior of carrying a half-eaten kill in the direction where we know there's a young sub-adult leopard, or a juvenile. I think it is Thandi. That light was very deceiving for a moment, and we haven't... it's just quick glimpses of her. Both of them are small leopards. I still think that Shadow is a bit bigger than the two of them. Her nose is also slightly sort of speckled. But... Shadow, yeah, no, I don't think it's Shadow. And Shadow, we know, had a limp too. And this leopard is walking perfectly. And I think Shadow hurt herself quite badly. She seems to be getting better from what we're hearing from the other guide. She's putting weight on her foot now, so that's good. Obviously, we would prefer to see it for ourselves, but I know she's been hanging around in Hoffman's, if I'm not mistaken. We're quite a distance away. We'll see. If this leopard crosses in, it's totally Thandi. There'd be no reason for Shongile to be carrying a kill and walking in the direction of another leopard. Even with Hosanna, she wouldn't be... I don't think she would even know to do something like that. She doesn't quite have that maternal instinct just yet. She's very young. Yeah, boy. Thank you, James. He said it's 100% Thandi. Oh, she's very nervous today. It's okay, girl. She just jumped back. I didn't even drive over a stick or leaf or anything. Perhaps she also heard that lion. Maybe that lion startled her. Maybe she bumped into it and she thought, oh my goodness, I better get out of here. So instead of going back and fetching Tumbo and bringing him this way, she maybe just thought to herself, I'm actually just going to take what's left back. It's easy for me to carry. Very cool though nonetheless. Again, we're going to have to stick behind her. We're not going to be able to pass her at the moment, but we'll keep going. Up ahead, it's going straight towards Cheetah Cut Line now. And it won't be too... still got a little bit of a way to go, so we still might have a chance. This is so cool. Trying to think. I'd have to do some serious bundu bashing if I wanted to get around her. Just sort of seeing. Yeah. I don't think I'll be able to get through this thicket live. It'll be too messy, even for me. We'll just have to stay like this, I'm afraid. Sorry, we're going to have to keep on the move because that's what she's doing. And I don't think she's going to stop either. maybe what we can do, okay, thank you Alice, that'd be very kind, because then I can try get around her. Okay, we're going to quickly try and zip around her and get in front. We're going to send you across to Tristan while we do so.
Well, I'm so glad for Taylor. That's such an epic way to start one's day, and certainly as her time is drawing to an end here at Djuma, that is a wonderful, wonderful sighting to have. So I'm super glad for her, and hopefully it will be a sighting that will be for the next few days, and little Tumba will get to go there as well. Now I'm still trying to find our male lion. No further sign or audio or anything from him. I can't find any tracks, so I'm just checking all these little 2 tracks that are around these blocks, trying to find some sort of footprints that could be in this area. I know that this is where the sticks and Insuku once were, so it's worth just having a little look here, and checking that he's not lying somewhere in the block. But it's difficult because if he is in one of these thickets, unless he calls or I find a track, it's going to be really tough to find him. So I'm hoping beyond all hope that we hear some or other audio once again, and that will be able to sort of indicate where he is. But I definitely think we're quite far east of where that sound came from, so I don't know if he is this side. It's just what luck that we're going to have to hope for, and maybe we'll get somewhere, somehow we will find him. I haven't checked Nyala Road's sort of north or Vulture's Nest yet, but I will get there at some point as well. Stephen, you're wondering if I could recognize a lion by his roar. Stephen, if we heard them enough and I could see them enough, maybe. There are different roars for the different lions. They do have different tones and different kind of sounds that come out of their mouths, but at the moment, no. I would be lying if I said I could recognize the Birmingham's roars. When you hear them all together, you'll be able to hear the different kind of tones between them, but just in a situation where we kind of hear them every now and then, no, it's unfortunately not possible. Well, I can't. Maybe Taylor can, but let's go across to her anyway, speak of the devil, and see how she's doing as she managed to catch up with Thandi.
We have, but she's so quick. I didn't realize how close we were to the boundary. She's crossed into Torchwood now, so these other vehicles that we're wanting to get here, I can't follow this leopard anymore, so they're going to have to relocate her on herself, but she's just crossed straight from Central, straight on the road into Torchwood. I'll update the guys now. Let me just try and get them on the radio, because otherwise... Which stations are coming to this Ingwe? I can't follow anymore. She's crossed Cheetah Cut Line into Torchwood, straight across from Central. She's walking on the road. Or whatever road joins directly with where Central Cheetah Cut Line joins, she's going straight down the road. Okay, I don't know what, and Andrew's now waffling off some bizarre roads that I have absolutely no idea, because I won't drive Torchwood, but there she goes. So she's definitely going to go and find young Tumba. Very exciting. At least we know he's going to gobble down something, and it also at least Thandi's had a little bit to eat, because we know these young male leopards at this time in their life are very hungry. Awesome. Yay! Let's go find the lion now. One leopard down for the morning. A brief sighting, but very cool nonetheless. Right, so we're going to turn around now. We're going to actually go, we're going to go all the way up Cheetah Cut Line. We're going to do Buffalo's Hook boundary again, because if that lion is going north, which it sounds, or at least northeast, which it sounds like it was from what I could gather, maybe we're going to catch this lion crossing out now. We've given him a bit of time to move through some of these thicker blocks. He could also go and stop for a drink at Buffalo's Hook, at the dam. It's another possibility. So we'll just keep going. There's lots of animals around here now. Lots of kudu, lots of impala. Why are you all running? Maybe they smelt the leopard and panicked and decided to get out of here. And zebra. And waterbuck. Lots of antelope. Look at everyone, they're panicking. Well, now a huge bachelor herd of impala rams. All being silly. Actually, that's very funny to watch. An array of antelope species, and then of course the zebra. So like I said, Impala, Kudu, Waterbuck, and a couple of zebra. And I'm sure there would have been the odd steenbok or duiker that also would have been chased in all this commotion. There's a young Waterbuck just darting. Oh, sorry, excuse me, I've got hiccups now. All that excitement. So here comes one of the vehicles that I presume is going to follow this leopard. They better hurry up. You better drive quickly like I normally drive quickly, because you're going to lose that cat, I'm afraid. Hopefully she just sticks on the road, and also you'll be able to see her tracks if she's on the road, so they should be able to find her. Beautiful kudu bull. How cool was that? So lovely. Everyone's very panicked now. Ah! Everybody run! There was a leopard! We don't know where it's gone. We could just smell it. And now everyone's just running around in circles. Zebras running, Impala running, kudu panicking. Again, the wind as well. This will definitely be causing a panic. Let me move off the road for you, you said. Let me do this. Oh, they've also actually stopped up ahead. Let me just go a bit closer then. And then we'll pull to the side so that they can come past as well. I might have to have a chat with, I think this is, I don't know who this is, because I'm sure they're going to try and follow up, and they'll probably want to know how to get there. So please just bear with me. Hello. If you want, you better fumble quickly and turn left. And then she was going a little bit further south. She's taking a bumper back to that Mantuan. Okay. Cheers. There we go. Just quickly in, I think it was Pem actually, from one of the Buffalo's Hook camps. You can hear him racing off. I told him you better go, because she was not like she was moving slowly, but all our antelope have now ran away as well. That was quite nice. A nice array of animals. And it seems as though we're not really having spending much time in these animals. They keep moving away from us, but it's still quite cool just to have quick little glimpses of them, and just shows you safety in numbers and how important, of course, it is to all stick together. Big Red, you said that elephants would calm things down right now. Yes, definitely for you and I. That's always a very peaceful sighting. However, if there were elephants in the mix, can you imagine how funny that would have been? You would have had the elephants then chasing the zebra because they were running, maybe the little ones chasing the impala, causing a massive stir. It would have been quite funny, don't you think? I think so. Especially after we watched the elephants chase the wildebeest around 2 afternoons ago. That really made me chuckle quite a bit. I love seeing sightings like that. And one of my favorite things is to watch little elephants chasing birds. I had some really cool sightings in Zambia when they were in the marsh areas, and lots of cattle egrets around, and the cattle egrets often sit on the elephant's back. It's one of the few birds that actually do, and move around through these swamplands. And when they were sort of, you know, in the water, you would not see one elephant calf walk past a cattle egret. Every single one of them would be chased by a young elephant calf. That was always really sweet to watch. But we'll move out now. There's not much more we can do with that leopard sighting, sadly, crossing out of our traverse. Like I said, maybe we're going to get lucky and we're going to get two of the big cats, well, the two big cat species that we have here. You're not really seeing too many cheetah around, although they've been hanging on our boundaries in Buffalo's Hook. Bouncy. They're very windy now. And I'm also going to start scanning. Again, I always tell you that it's nice to be higher up and you can look down. So I better practice what I preach. And it wouldn't surprise me if we could see a lion actually walking in the distance. So I'm going to keep my eyes focused down there. But I'm also going to check on the road, because there's a spot that they like to cross over Guaripan, Hippo Pools, and then out in this eastern corner, but I can't see anything here just yet. I wonder where Tristan's checking now. We'll have to find out. I know he's still looking for the lion, so we'll help him. We'll just keep circling this area, and hopefully Tristan gets that big cat. But speaking of Tristan, let's go back to him and see what roads he's been searching.
Well, I've searched everywhere in this general vicinity. Oh, hello, Giraffe. Maybe let's see if it's just staring off onto the right-hand side here. Maybe our giraffe will find our lion for us. They often do this. They do stare in a direction if they've seen something. So it's just off on my left hand side and staring straight down the road. I can't see anything. I don't see any tracks or anything like that around here. There it goes. It's obviously, whatever it was, wasn't too concerned. It was looking southwards, but it's not too concerned. And this is that female we saw yesterday afternoon, so it's the same female by herself. What are you doing by yourself, female? She doesn't look like she's pregnant, so it doesn't look like she's off to go and have her young one, which they sometimes do. She seems to be quite shy as well, not behind the thicket. Hopefully she will come out. There you go. She's starting to come out now. As you can see, she's still looking in our general direction. I wonder if maybe she spotted something, and she was looking in this direction before I parked her, so it's not even just me that is in this area that's causing her to get a disturbance. I wonder if she hasn't smelt something or heard something. Maybe she heard that lion as well, and she's a bit nervous of this section. There's a big wind that is blowing and might be pushing a scent of that lion somewhere in this area, but we still haven't found a track for him. So if he is here, he flew here with his wings, as we know lions can do. They sometimes grow wings and are able to fly around, so maybe that's why. But like I say, she's not pregnant. She doesn't have a young one with her, so I'm not sure why she's on her own. It's very seldom you'll see female giraffe by themselves. Males, yes, but the females tend to congregate in small groups, so I don't know what she's doing. You can see she's also got missing the tip of her tail, so when she was younger, or more likelihood, I think she's missing the tip. Is she? Maybe I'm wrong. Difficult to see on this little screen. It looks like the tip is not there. There's no big black fluffy end to it as far as I can see. Maybe there is. Maybe it's just behind the bush there. But it's not uncommon to see giraffe with stumpy tails. Hyenas go after them when they're babies, and how they go after them is to grab them by the tails. And when they grab them by the tails, obviously it then leads to a bit of an injury developing. And the tail, sometimes the tip of it falls off and you get these little stumpy tails on giraffe. It's, like I say, very common. But look at the beautiful big eyelashes that she's got, and this kind of gentle look that giraffe often have when they stare at you. And the beautiful pattern as well. Rick, you're wondering how tall this giraffe? Oh no, the tip of the tail is on there. It just wasn't wagging it. Rick, in terms of its height, a fully grown female like this is at about 4.5 meters, whereas a fully grown male is at 5.5. So it's about 25, 26 feet, somewhere around there. I might be wrong. I think it's somewhere in that general vicinity. But at 4.5 meters and 5.5 meters is the length, well, the tallness of a giraffe, female and male. But she's going to disappear behind thickets that we're not going to really be able to follow her much longer, so I don't think we're going to get too much of a view. You can see she's still looking down in this general area. I wonder if maybe something's not just lying in the thickets here somewhere. I'll have to just have a better look and check very, very nicely as we go. You can see she's kind of just behind some of the bush, and once she goes deeper in there, we're not going to be able to find her. But while she's staring in this direction, I just want to check and make sure that there isn't something, because I did drive here, and if there's tracks over my vehicle tracks, then we know that there is something lurking close by. But that lion definitely called from here. With this wind that's raging, for us to have heard it so clearly, had to have been quite close. Esther, the giraffe eyelashes are that length because they're there to protect the eyes. So the length of the eyelashes will help keep dust and dirt, as well as these thorns that they like to feed off. The trees that they feed off often have very long thorns, and so those eyes just help to be protected and to make sure that they are looked after, and that the eyelashes keep them from being damaged or hurt in any way. But there's no tracks that I can see of this lion. I have no idea where he walked. He must have walked here somewhere, but I just can't find any single footprint of him. And they must be in this general area, because like I say, with all the wind, we wouldn't have been able to hear it that clearly if it wasn't quite close by. So if I can find the tracks, it will help a lot to be able to find this lion, because just going by sound is going to be really, really quite tough. Let's check Nyala Road south, just in case there isn't any tracks here. If there's nothing here, we're going to have to, I think, check more to the west, so maybe towards Treehouse Dam side, see if there isn't anything there. We'll leave the northern sector for Taylor. She can always check. Hang on a second. There's a drag mark over here. Now, I don't know if this drag mark was followed by anybody, but you can see just here on my right hand side there is a very, very distinct and very clear drag. So there it goes, you can see it there. There's the hooves of an animal that have been dragged by some sort of predator. I'm not sure if it's hyenas or leopard. Looks like it was a leopard that dragged it, given there's a track here that I can see, but that is where they've dragged, and the hooves of this animal has carried on. But Taylor wants to know where I am, and Taylor will know about this drag mark. This is a drag mark that the guys followed 2 days ago, and they said that the elephants were all here, or yesterday I think it was. But we'll just have another look in case. You never know, maybe this animal's still eating it. I think in all likelihood though it is Thandi, and we know that Thandi is quite far away, but I will have a little squiz and check around here. It seems as though it goes down towards a big tree over there, so I'll go and investigate. You also can't write off Shongile. She tends to spend time in this area, so it might be her as well, but I'm not going to be able to follow with a vehicle. I'm going to have to get off on foot to follow this, because it's difficult to see drag marks when you're in a vehicle, so I'll have to try and do a foot exercise to get to see where this track goes. Now, she could have finished it already, but it's possible that there is still something around in this particular section. Like I say, there's a nice big tree there that it could have been dragged towards, and they'll often put it up into the tree, and you never know, maybe Tumba is here if it was Thandi and he's still lingering around where she had this, or it could be some sign of another leopard that is in this area. Right, now I'm going to go and check around quickly and just have a little look, and while I do that, let's go back to Taylor McCurdy and see where she is, whether she's had any luck.